expressed by Rodney Monker, his guests, callers, and advisors on Freedom March are not necessarily those of the management, ownership, or production unit of ILS, the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without the express written consent of the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2017. All rights are reserved.
The role of a woman in the society is to submit. Birth control are the pills of the devil. Education is so fundamental to the development of a people. I'm murderous. Simple as that. What am I voting for? Voting will change nothing.
Tout le monde haïtien, como ye. God save the Queen.
Happy Friday, everybody. I think this Friday I'm going to invite the spiritual advisor. What are we going to do with this Friday, my spiritual advisor? Are we going to the Porterski Dock?
Let's go to Bahama, man.
Bahama?
Let's go to Bahama. Man, I hear it's one of the greatest resorts in this part of the world. Let's go to Bahama, man.
Listen.
Let's see what's happening there.
I'll think about it. But I prefer to take you to one of the local...
Okay, the native fish fry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe we should go to Porterski Dock. How does that sound?
Porterski Dock.
Yeah,
okay.
Porterski Dock.
All right.
Well, folks, today is Friday, the 26th day of January. Would you believe it that yesterday was the birthday of one of the women them on the island of Freeport, Grand Bahama? My maternal first cousin, Stacy Cox Knowles. She celebrated her birthday yesterday, and for some reason, I thought it was today. Stacy, I want you to know how special you are. Happy birthday, though belated. Broadcasting live from ILTV Studios here in Nassau, Bahamas. Welcome to Freedom March. My name is Rodney Monker. I'm a Justice of the Peace here in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And of course, I'm a member of the local Catholic Christian community. My spiritual advisor, Bradley Roll, is here. Bradley, how are you?
I'm doing great, Senator. I'm good.
This is powerful.
Absolutely.
Well, folks, I will continue following behind the Attorney General, Carl Bettel. We're going to have to get rid of this Attorney General because more evidence is coming forth that Carl is nothing but a picky teeth man, Toby. He's worse than a frying pan with black collie on it. So we're going to look at Carl, and then we're going to call our first journalist witness, a County Joe woman who is decent, and I've always believed she's safe. Decent Nikki Kelly. She was writing between the lines, and we're going to look between the lines to see what Nikki find on Carl. And then, of course, we're going to go back to the gun smuggling allegations and conviction of Edward Barrett Jr. He's the Negro businessman from the nation's second city who was convicted. We're going to look at him, and we're going to look at some threats to sue me. I don't know why they're always trying to threaten to sue me, because I don't say anything that is unlawful. But this morning, a noted QC has accused me of bringing disgrace, and shame to the Bostwick name. And I'm going to ask the public, is it possible that I have brought disgrace and shame to the Bostwick name? I'm innocent. It wasn't me. I'm only reporting what the newspapers say. This is Freedom March. Pray for me because the Bostwicks are out to sue me. I'll be right back after the break.
Freedom March with Rodney Monker will be right back after this. This is Freedom March with Rodney Monker.
Welcome back to Freedom March, broadcasting live on ILTV studios here in Nassau, Bahamas. My spiritual advisor, Bradley Roll, is here with me. My name is Rodney Monker. Bradley, do you have a wonderful word from the Lord?
Yeah, well, let's do this. Let's go to John chapter 14. We're going to read a few verses from Jesus Christ. Written by John, it says this: "Let not your hearts be troubled. Believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. And if it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again to receive you unto myself, that where I am, there you may be also. And you know the way to where I'm going." Thomas said to Jesus, "Lord, we do not know where you're going. How can we know the way?" Jesus said to him, "I am the way, I am the truth, and I'm the life. No one comes to the Father except he comes through me. If you had known me, you would have known my Father also. And from now on, you do know him and have seen him." John chapter 14, verses 1 to 7. Powerful. Jesus.
Indeed it is, my spiritual advisor.
I want to show you, I want to do an exegesis on this just quickly, right?
Okay, my spiritual advisor.
Jesus says, if you had known me,
If you had known me,
you would have known my Father also.
you would have known my Father also.
Now, this is to my Jehovah's Witnesses friends who claim that Jesus
My
Christ is not
spiritual-
God. Just quickly, here's what it says.
Goodness of mercy.
From now on, you do know him and have seen him. Jesus says, if you've seen me, you've seen the Father.
Amen.
So what that does is that kicks that doctrine out the door,
My
that
spiritual
Jesus is
advisor-
not God. Oh, you want me to speak the truth or what?
I want to speak to you,
Yes.
but leave the Jehovah's Witnesses alone, eh? Well, folks, once again, welcome to Freedom March. We have breaking news coming from the Inland Revenue Department located somewhere on Carmichael Road. The reports are that a hard-hearted F&M government has terminated 4 Negro workers from Inland Revenue. Well, what are we to say? The Deputy Prime Minister, who is also the Minister of Finance, was on the front page of one of the newspaper them bragging that there's going to be plenty unemployment. So 4 Negro citizen has been terminated, and the F&M is blaming the PLP for it. They say they had to fire them because the PLP gone and hired them. I've never heard more silliness in all of my life. But that is the reality among the Negro leadership. My spiritual advisor, would you like to comment on that, or should I move on?
Well, I think what has happened, Mr. Monken, the reason why I think Peter Turnquist may have made the statement is because I'm understanding that apparently the former administration had hired some people into various government agencies, and these people were not identified. And I understand.
What do you mean they were not identified?
And some of them didn't have any contracts, and if they did have contracts were going to be expiring at a certain date, right? So then, once those contracts expired, realistically, the government is not under any obligation to renew them.
Workers?
They may have been the
They may have.
Yeah. Remember that 52-week program the government, the previous administration had conducted? Where
And you're suggesting that is what
some
this
of
is.
those contracts may have expired.
Well, I'm not going to contradict you today, my spiritual
when the
advisor.
government speaks about, there may be some unemployment, you have contracts that are going to be expired, and then, of course, I understand that there are just some agencies in the government that are just oversized, and the government now has to make a move to right-size these agencies.
And create more unemployment.
Well,
anyway,
it's unfortunate.
I shall leave that alone
But
for next week.
It is what it is.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy that in the newspaper this morning, the opposition leader, Philip Brave Davis, has come out and he has commented on this speech that the Androsian Member of Parliament, Percival Forbes, gave yesterday or the day before, in which he has advocated that politicians be treated in a special category. Let's look at what the leader of the opposition has to say, because we know that the minister responsible for works, the Honorable Desmond Bannister, he is arguing that politicians will not be given any special privileges. It was interesting to note that the general manager of BPL, he thought it was important to comment. I really think he should have kept his mouth closed and conduct an investigation as to whether or not BPL is overcharging the Negro people. All right? But I leave him alone for the week.
But certainly you would understand why the CEO of BEC would
I cannot
comment.
understand why he would engage in a political... Listen to me.
Well, Mr. Monk, the
I want you
reality
to listen to
is...
me. If he was written a letter demanding such a thing, I could understand. But if the politicians are talking about themselves, why is he getting in that?
Because apparently there would have been some political specialist.
His minister is the
Right.
politician.
Right, and so...
Desmond is the politician.
Right. And so, well, he's,
And I think
he's the CEO. He's the
Hastings
CEO.
should keep his mouth closed.
He's the CEO, and he wants to make it clear that apparently there is no such list to be continued at BPL, where politicians would be treated in a special manner because they have these, huge light bills. That's not going to happen anymore. It used to, but that list has been discontinued. I think that would be the reason why he would be commenting. Certainly he can, because he's now the chief executive officer of BPL.
Well, let us look at what opposition leader Philip Brave Davis has to say.
Okay.
It is written in today's Tribune on page 10. The reporter is the Negro journalist Rashad Roll. And it goes like this. The Progressive Liberal Party does not believe utility companies should treat politicians differently from ordinary citizens. PLP leader Philip Brave Davis said yesterday, adding the comments of South Andros MP Percival Forbes in Parliament on Wednesday were inelegantly articulated and taken out of context. Mr. Forbes drew criticism for suggesting politicians be protected and extended certain courtesies in the way companies like Bahamas Power and Light, PLP, treat them in the face of non-payment. Last year, the Tribune revealed that Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis' decision to clamp down on a long-standing secret policy involving a special list of politicians whose water and electricity services are never disconnected despite their lack of payment, a privilege not extended to other Bahamians. On Wednesday, Mr. Forbes said in Parliament, a conversation about how politicians are treated with respect to their light bills is needed. That is the reality, Mr. Forbes said. It's a small amount of persons who would have passed through these halls. Senators, members of Parliament, I think there must be a basic benchmark or protocol for persons whose lights are going to be turned off. People who served in public offices or those who have served. Contacted yesterday, opposition leader Philip Brave Davis distanced himself from Mr. Forbes' comments and emphasized that the official position of the PLP is for all Bahamians to be treated equally, regardless of status or profession. He claimed Mr. Forbes did not say politicians should have their lights remain on, but that they should be notified before an impending disconnection. If I am receiving a service and you are going to terminate that service, there should be a courtesy to let me know you're going to terminate that if I don't pay it in a day or two. That's the point he was making, Mr. Davis said, adding that Mr. Forbes was referring to one or two colleagues that have had that happen to them, causing embarrassment recently, and he wasn't referring to himself. Asked why Mr. Forbes singled out politicians as worthy of this courtesy, Mr. Davis said, "That's why I said it was inelegantly articulated. This is a courtesy that should be extended across the board to everyone, not just politicians. Before you cut anyone's light off, give them some notice." Okay, that's fair comments. You would recall that when Hubert Ingraham was Prime Minister, the then chairman, what is his name? I can't remember his name. I think he is a Mr. Bettel. He called Ingraham to tell the Prime Minister that his light bill was $10,000 in arrears. Ingraham thanked him. Peter I. Bettel is his name, the then general manager. Ingraham thanked him, and when he hung up, he picked up the phone and he called opposition leader Perry Gladstone Christie, and Perry immediately wrote a $10,000 check and sent it to BEC. And that made history, for the first time in the history of the country, that the leader of the opposition paid the Prime Minister's light bill. I don't know what we can do, but I think Philip Brave Davis is correct that there ought to be a courtesy. Notify the consumer, but it must be all the consumer them, and let them know. I just thought we will touch base on that. My spiritual advisor, I'm understanding that there has been another murder.
Really?
On the island.
Oh.
There are reports.
Yeah, New Providence?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
There are reports that a Negro female might have been stabbed to death.
Yes, I understand. Over a cell phone, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Well,
it's just sad, you know.
I want to hear from Marion Bettel. She believed in woman's right. I want to hear from Cedar. Watch what takes place in this country. You could kill a woman, and Marion Bettel will go to Her Majesty prison and say, "Don't hang the murderer." You hear me? You could kill the woman and they don't open up their mouth. But if they heard that you're contemplating mating the woman, having sex with the woman, they all get angry. Watch these Negroes. Watch how warped their thinking is. I have watched consistently that women are being murdered. And I've been the only person in the country who's been saying, hang the murderer! Hang the murderer! You hear me? But Marion Bettel, who claims that she is speaking for the woman them at the UN, she's never said to them, do you know they're killing the woman them? Do you know that they're murdering the woman them? But if she hear that serious man intend to deal with his woman tonight sexually, they say you ain't got permission, and they put rape on you. That's what they do. So they only have sex on their mind. You hear me? These are a bunch of unsaved women. You ain't got to sex the woman, but if you kill her, they're upset. They're not upset. They're not upset. Women are being killed left, right, and center. And Marion ain't grab a placard and tell the UN we have to hang these murderers. But they say they're for the woman them. No, they're not for the woman them. I am for the woman them, because I don't want nobody to murder nobody. And that includes man and woman. Don't kill nobody. Because if you kill somebody, you should be hanged. That is what I believe. All right? But a whole woman could get killed in Nassau, and none of these women who say they believe in human rights. They say they believe in human rights, but when man kill woman, they side with the murderer. But if you want to make love to the woman, if you want to go home with your wife, they say you raping your wife. A bunch of no good people with nastiness on their minds while woman is being murdered. I call on the Bahamian man to stop killing woman. That's the first thing. No woman should be murdered. No human being should be murdered. No man should be murdered. And murderers should be hanged. As simple as that. We should hang these murderers, because there's too much murder taking place. And my spiritual advisor.
The Bible also says that murderers are going to go to hell, Mr. Monica. That's
But tell them,
thing,
tell the murderers now.
Well, I think they should know that. We live in a Christian country, Mr. Monica, and these words are said over and repeated again. You know, we're not supposed to be murdering, taking the lives of other people. You know, you don't do that. The Bible says they'll go to hell.
On the white woman from the United Nations who's concerned about whether or not married man is raping his wife, I want her to be concerned about the woman them who are being murdered. Kill that poor woman. Huh? And none of the woman organization, I hear nothing from them, say y'all for woman. Y'all don't like woman. Marion Bettel is a misogynist. Candy Adams is a misogynist. They're all a bunch of misogynists. But I say, we're going to hang murderers one day, because killing people is not a good thing. This is Freedom March. A whole woman has been murdered, and these women activists ain't open up their mouth.
Freedom March with Rodney Monker will be right back after this. Rodney Monker, his guests, callers, and advisors on Freedom March are not necessarily those of the management, ownership, or production unit of ILS, the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without the express written consent of the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2017. All rights are reserved.
Welcome back to Freedom March, broadcasting live on ILTV Studios here in Nassau, Bahamas. My name is Rodney Monker. Bradley Roll is my spiritual advisor. Bradley, welcome once again.
Thank you, Mr. Monker.
Who is the minister responsible for the environment? Who is the minister? Is it still Rami Ferreira? Who is?
Romel Ferreira.
Because the people them cannot find him. There is an environmental mess taking place. And I need it solved. And I'll tell you what it is. Just the other day, a new road was paved off of Cowpen Road West. It leads in to the Bonefish Park.
Oh.
The Bonefish Park. Nice road that leads into the park. Nice swamp land. But two Negroes have committed a serious piece of arson on the new road. When you go through the new road, roughly about 50 feet, onto the newly paved Bonefish Park Road, they got one car burned to the ground. And what you think Romy Ferelda do? The Minister of the Environment. He stick one sign telling somebody that if they don't move the burnout car almost in the middle of the road, within 14 days, they can move it. Then you go through about 150 feet and you turn west. Another piece of the road is paved and the remainder is unpaved. They got another second car that some Negro gone and also burned to the ground. And what you think? The environmental people led by Romy Ferreira, they stick another sign telling somebody. They did it on the 16th of January, 2018. And you know what those Negroes put on that car? Two cars literally in the middle of the road. And almost in the wilderness, they have called on the owner to move the car or the government can move it. Why y'all so stupid? Don't you see a criminal act has been committed? So send the record to move the car before somebody one night driving through that jet black road running to it. Boy, y'all Negroes or something? I mean, come on. Can't you see it's arson? My spiritual advisor, I've never seen nothing like this in all my life.
You know, now that you mentioned that, I did pass that road today going into Lifehack, and you're right. It's a car, and it's parked on the right-hand side of the road, and it is almost set up, well, basically. And I think it looks like a Honda Cube.
It's a Honda Cube.
It looks like a Cube.
The first one is a Honda Cube.
Yeah.
And the next
I saw
one.
That.
Yeah.
I saw it.
All right? Now listen here. Y'all find y'all MP. Because I ain't got time to ride from Bain and Grandstand way down in the back there.
Oh, no, Nissan.
To go look at burn up car. Who's your MP? All right? Find your MP and let your MP know. All right? Because when I told Minister I wanted a nomination, he ain't give me none. So call your MP or call Minister. I've never seen nothing like this in all my life.
The Cube is Nissan or Honda?
It's Nissan.
Okay, Nissan.
It's
Nissan?
two Nissan.
Okay.
Nissan Cube and Nissan Honda, whatever they are.
Yeah.
But listen,
Let's
government, y'all are silly. The car in the middle of the road. Ain't nobody. You think the owner is going to come now and say, we can move our car before the government move it? And then somebody burn it almost to the ground? And you can't tell who own it? Oh, boy. Oh, boy. I could just curse on TV. But that would be a sin. And that might be against the law. So I say, Ching Wang 42. Just go down there. Huh? I mean, Romy, you're nothing but a picky teeth man, Toby. You're nothing but a frying pan. Can't you get Sister McKinsey to get one truck and move those two cars before somebody get killed? I want the country to know that the car is almost literally in the middle of the road. And it's a very dark road as you cut through to go to the Bonefish.
Yeah, Bonefish, yeah.
Bonefish Pond Park. or Bonefish Park Pond, whatever the name is, but you Negroes, y'all are letting me down. Okay? Anyway, I finished with that. Want the people them to see. I came down, I look at the car, I count them. I took picture of them. Now I come on TV, and I've asked Rummy to send a record and move it before someone get killed. Can't say I ain't do it. All right? And listen, y'all don't call me far old there, man, because I ain't got that much gas. All right? But I came nevertheless. Spiritual advisor, am I doing my work?
Well, yeah. Why you just didn't go to Melanie McKenzie and you know, speak to her about it? You might get quick results, I guess.
What should I say to her?
Just let her know what's going on.
Well, we can say to her, yeah, you tell her for me.
No, you go ahead.
Melanie McKenzie,
yeah.
Listen, you know, your minister is very incompetent.
I don't know if you want to do that, Mr.
How you mean if I don't want to do that?
I
told you to speak to her.
Yeah,
you tell me I must talk to her.
Yeah, but I thought you'd be responsible and
how you
speaking
mean?
to her.
Romney is very irresponsible.
Yeah, but don't forget now, he delegates, you know.
Oh, he delegates?
Yeah. So that's why I say you should tell Melanie McKenzie.
But under our system,
she's very competent too.
Listen to me. A competent director with an incompetent minister is a confused.
Mr. Van Q, something else, you know. I don't think that's fair.
What is not fair?
That's not fair.
This is a man who found...
You have no reason to call the minister
I do have
for
reason.
the environment incompetent,
yes, I do.
You know?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Would you like to hear those reasons?
No.
I don't.
But for the sake of this argument, we just got 2 cars burnt beyond recognition that should be moved. You're doing a good job in letting the Minister of the Environment along with the director to have them removed. But you don't have to say because they're there that people are incompetent. They didn't tell people to go burn those cars out and leave them there, you know.
My brother, his job is to keep the environment clean.
Absolutely.
All right?
Yeah.
All right then, but don't cost me to carry on. Melanie McKenzie. You know, Rummy Ferreira ain't doing his job. So you better make him look good.
That's her job.
It's her job?
Mm-hmm.
Well, whoever job it is, I couldn't give 2 pennies, but you got 2 cars in the middle of the road. All right? And somebody can get killed one of these dark nights, swinging through the corner, and bam! An incompetent group of F&Ms. Now, should we go after Carl Bettel now? Let's look.
Man, listen, this Carl Bettel story would not let down, man.
Because he lied.
Well, you already made your point about the Attorney General.
I need more evidence.
You know what? I spoke to the Attorney General.
You spoke to him?
And, you know, he said some things. But I'm going to leave that, though.
What did he say?
He doesn't really care about what you're saying.
I know he doesn't care. Carl Bettel. You heard what the spiritual advisor said? Well, let me give you the story. What my grandma told me.
But he did say this, though.
What did he say?
He said that, honestly, you and him were in the trenches together. Now, what does that mean, in the trenches? When he says that, he said, listen, me and Rodney been in the trenches. Yes. But he said, I'm not paying attention to Rodney.
Don't pay.
Run on with all that foolishness on TV.
But let's look at it. It is dangerous, Minister, to say Lord. You don't care. Mama say don't care. Die in the road because he don't care. And because he don't care, he wasn't looking where he was going. When the truck knocked it down. All right? I don't care. I know you don't care. That's why you went to Switzerland and lied to them white people. And told them that the country had already discussed this and that we have agreed that you could put rape on married man, but don't call it rape. All right? Only because Menace is a Negro leader that you're getting away with it. Because if this was Britain, where the white people understood and appreciate the convention, you, Carl Bettel, would have been fired. And if you were an ambassador representing the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, and I was the minister responsible for foreign affairs, I'd have fired you right there in Switzerland because you misrepresented to the world a position which the Bahamas did not take, and a position which you lied, and it was never discussed in civil society. And civil society can't be that Conky Joe man who you send a copy to. Civil society is every citizen of the Bahamas. And the only way we can have consultation on this matter is to do what Hubert Ingram did, put it to a referendum. Do what Perry Gladstone Christie did, put it to a referendum. And let us vote on it. And we will show you that I have the capacity to lead thousands of women to reject gender equality. Talking nonsense. But I told the country yesterday that we are sending a letter to the President of the United Nations, and we shall attach a copy of the Punch to it, because I want the President to take yesterday's edition of the Punch, which is Thursday, January the 25th, 2018. I want the President to turn to page 16, where he could see what decent Nikki Kelly wrote between the lines. And Nikki's wrote that the Attorney General's bungling impetus for public backlash. And she points out, because she's a journalist, and as a trained journalist, she's not like me. She is a journalist. Me, I play journalism. I play journalism when I want to upset these Negroes who are bogus journalists. But Nikki Kelly is the real thing. And she has scientifically documented in her article what kind of Attorney General Carl is. I'm going to read a few lines because I'm going to send this to the UN. I'm going to send this. All right? My spiritual advisor, if you have Thursday Punch, save it for me. All right? I need a couple of days to send to the UN. Let's see what Nikki says. She says, in his anxiety, she's talking about Carl Bettel, to appease both sides of the marital rape debate, Attorney General Carl Bettel managed to anger and convince most Bahamians that the Minnis administration is not to be trusted. You see, if I had said that, y'all want to say, you see, Monca's a Negro man. He only saying that. But Nikki is a Conky Joe woman. And she is holding the same Negro position that I am holding. Isn't that powerful? Isn't that powerful? Let's look at it again. Nikki Kelly, who's a Conky Joe woman. She ain't no Negro. I am a Negro. But she's holding the same Negro position. Man is powerful. Yeah. She's holding the same Negro position that I'm holding.
Oh, boy, W.
And she says that Carl Bettel, in his anxiety to appease both sides of the marital rape debate, Attorney General Carl Bettel managed to anger and convince most Bahamians that the Minnis administration is not to be trusted. But I told you all that. I told that to you before the general election. I said, listen, you can't trust Minnis. Minnis talk with forked tongue. You can't trust him. I told you all this. Now, Nikki Kelly, a whole white woman, has come forward to support my Negro position. And I want you all to read the Punch to see what she says. She says, to understand the tangled web woven by Mr. Bettel en route to the United Nations and his surprising representation of what he claimed was the Bahamian position, one has to carefully follow the sequence of events. You heard what she say? In order to understand, you got to look at the sequence of the events. Thursday, December 14, 2017. In a first official visit to the Bahamas, UN Rapporteur Dubravka Semenovic, that's the white woman who came here, told a news conference that her job was to examine the steps being taken by the authorities to address the issue of gender-based violence against women, touching specifically on the issue of marital rape. She said she intended to provide recommendations to ensure women's rights and safety are in line with acceptable international standards and are prioritized in policy initiatives. Now, what you may not be aware of is that Carl Bettel and Marion Bettel, wow, Carl Bettel and Marion Bettel, they both knew in advance that that white woman was coming from the United Nations. So this was one major maneuver in deception. So the woman come, and she knew Carl had to come to the UN. Marion knew that. But they set up this ruse to mislead us, thinking that we are so uneducated that we'll not be able to figure out what they're doing. Carl Bettel is a traitor because he went to the UN and he put a position not authorized by the government and or not having discussed it with the Bahamian people. And Carl must be forced to resign. I ask my people to ignore the fact that Carl has curly hair. Ignore that. Ignore the fact that Carl has color. For Christ's sake, ignore it. Ignore the fact that Carl went to London and is London educated and London trained. You have to ignore that. Because he returned from London and he left the British convention and tradition right there. This man must go, and we must demonstrate to him that we are going to take this letter to the United Nations. Because what has happened, Nikki proves it. So get yesterday Punch. I'm not going to read all the Nikki thing in the Punch. But Nikki is a good woman, and I thank God that a whole Conkey Joe woman is supporting my Negro position. Carl must go, despite the fact that he has curly hair, and despite the fact that he got little color. He's not worthy of those curly hair and the color. We must run him out, because what is taking place is not right. My spiritual advisor, you are one of the saints in your church. Certainly, lying is an abomination.
Well, it's a sin.
Is it not a bomb in the nation?
Lying is a sin.
It's an abomination.
Who says it's an abomination?
I say Carl is lying. And Carl Bettel, I say, liar, liar. Your pants on fire. And you can further tell the spiritual advisor these things about me. Be careful about me, because I know how to deal with you. And you are taking advantage of menace because you are pushing the agenda which you did not complete it when you were last in office as Attorney General. All you're doing is lying. I didn't know Carl used to lie. I always thought Carl, you was a Christian. I know Lige is a Christian. Lyle. But I always thought you was a Christian. And you went and told an international lie, want to put rape on these young people, because you can't put rape on me, because I old now. I old. And as the Haitian would have said in Haitian Creole, I am not able to faire bagaille. Faire bagaille. meaning do things. I can't do things now. I'm 61. But the young men of the country, and I'm going to show you something here. I want to give you all a story of a Negro man who got married recently. And my God, after the wedding, the wife refused to allow her decent husband to consummate the marriage. And everybody knows, in accordance with the law and in accordance with canon law, laws of the church there, if you marry a woman and there is no consummation, it means you didn't consume things. It means you didn't do anything. And one of the major legal and theological aspects of the marriage is consummation. And the woman wouldn't allow the man to consummate. Poor fella. It was almost like if he was retarded. Because he did something that I would not have done. He complained to his mother. His mother was shocked. When he came home, he said, listen, Mom, I don't know how to say it to you, but my wife is refusing to allow me to consummate the marriage. And the man said, well, tell your older brothers them. Because the man didn't want to talk them kind of talks. And the brothers them told him how to consummate it. And listen to me, when he returned to the matrimonial home, and the wife refused to allow him to consummate the marriage so that the marriage can be lawful. Well, guess what he did? With the blessing of his mother and the blessing of his brothers. And this is a true story. This is a true story. This ain't no friction of my imagination. His mother and his brother told him, listen, that's your wife. Hold her down and consummate it. And by grab, he did it. And he consummated the marriage. But having been satisfied of finally conquering his wife, she then put him in fear as she reported him to the police. It's a true story. Nothing came out of it because her family got involved and said, listen, you got to consummate because mom and them want little grandchildren. You hear me? So I asked the question, the husband, in collusion with his mom and his brothers, in which he personally held his wife down and took possession of her hereditaments. It's land law I'm talking now. Who is guilty? Is he guilty of an offense in view of the fact that the law says that in order for the marriage to be lawful, you got to consummate. If you don't consummate, there is no marriage. Spiritual advisor, you've been married, and you know, without consummation.
Yes, absolutely.
You agree?
But I concede with you, according to Proverbs chapter 12 and verse number 22, it says, lying lips are an abomination to the Lord, but those who act faithfully are his delight.
So I was correct.
Yeah. You always seem to be correct.
But of course, I told you.
You always do your research.
Is a bum in the nation. Abomination? What abomination? You're a bum in the nation. Huh? And I want the people them to rise up against the F&M, because Nikki Kelly is now revealing to us that the Minister administration cannot be trusted. Y'all think we stupid because we black, eh? No, sir. Pinling built plenty schools from 1967, and successive governments, including the F&M, also continue to build schools. And while A. Leonard Archer and the late Mary Knabb threw me out of school in 1974, and I didn't graduate, I still pick up some things. And the things that I pick up, I know that Carl is on the wrong track. and we're going to demand his resignation. Carl, I don't care how curly your hair is or how good your skin is. You're on the wrong track, and I'm turning you back. This is Freedom March. I'll be right back after the break.
The thoughts, views, and comments. Freedom March with Rodney Monker will be right back after this. Freedom March with Rodney Monker.
Welcome back to Freedom March, broadcasting live on ILTV Studios here in Nassau, Bahamas. Yesterday evening, you would recall that I got a coded message, and as a result of me responding to it, it was revealed to me breaking news taking place on the island of Grand Bahama, in which a prominent businessman who had been charged was convicted. Well, so as to put you in perspective, I shall once again read the statement. Former F&M Senator John Bostwick's cousin, Edward Barrett, convicted for gun possession and sentenced to 4 years in prison with a $15,000 fine, or face an additional 1 year in prison. Well, Bahama Press reported that Freeport businessman Edward Barrett, 48, of Pink Pearl Close, Freeport, has been convicted. Barrett, the popular Freeport businessman and first cousin of John Bostwick Jr., has been found guilty in his gun case and sentenced to 4 years. His conviction of a firearm importation was handed down by Magistrate Samuel McKinney yesterday afternoon. The ruling read his sentence to 4 years in prison with a $15,000 fine, or face an additional 1 year in prison. Back in 2016, Barrett was initially charged with 6 counts of firearm possession with intent to supply, 2 counts of possession of ammunition, 3 counts of possession of ammunition with intent to supply, 9 counts of importation of firearms, conspiracy to import firearms, and conspiracy to import ammunition. On the charges of firearm possession with intent to supply, prosecutors allege that Barrett had a 7.62 rifle, a 9mm rifle, and a .45 Taurus revolver with intent to supply, and 2 9mm magazines, and a 7.62 magazine with intent to supply. He was accused of possession of 16 rounds of .25 ammunition and 4 rounds of .40 ammunition. On the charges of ammunition possession with intent to supply, Barrett was accused of having 60 rounds of .223 ammunition, 68 rounds of 9mm ammunition, and 40 rounds of .762 ammunition. He was also accused of importing the contraband. His arrest came just following the discovery of his cousin, then F&M Senator John Bostwick, was arrested and charged. Now, that is news. And we as citizens should never gloat or laugh at the calamity of others, for we have relatives, and many of us have relatives who are grossly irresponsible, relatives who have been trained and educated to do the right thing. But the devil and money and all sorts of reason could impair their judgment and they get themselves in problem. And that is why we have to constantly talk to relatives. And in some cases, we have to talk to ourselves. Because many of us have lived reasonably decent life, and in a twinkling of an eye could be misled. And the next thing you know, you make your first mistake that leads you to prison. So there's nothing to brag about. But there are people, I suspect they're FNMs, who's attempting to set up the Honorable Henry John Bostwick Sr. against me. When I discuss these matters, they tend to give him misleading information. And by virtue of certain complex situations, we are both compelled to see each other with regularity. And so this morning, Mr. Bostwick QC has subtly threatened me with a lawsuit. Now, whenever he threatens me with a lawsuit, I always take it seriously, because I am aware that he's a good lawyer. And he is a lawyer of high standing. And so I have to take it seriously. I want you all to stop telling Mr. Bostwick misleading stories. All right? Because Mr. Bostwick has accused me of attempting to disgrace the Bostwick family. I thought Mr. Bostwick was unfair to me because I am a Cox Moncur. My mother is a Cox. My father is a Moncur. If any family that one is disgracing, you see, for me not to be a Bostwick, I could not possibly disgrace the Bostwick family. It would be members of the family who disgrace. Now my ma and pa family, Cox, Carey, Cox, Moncur, they could say to me, listen, we are displeased with your action, for we believe that you are disgracing the family. And then I would have to then talk to my ma family, who are the Coxes. And I would have to talk to my father's family, who are the Moncurs. But for me not to be a Bostwick, it is inappropriate to accuse me of disgracing the Bostwick. I'm not doing that. I'm not a member of the family. The only people who could disgrace the Bostwick would have to be Bostwick family members. And no matter what you think, the Bostwicks have been impeccable people. Now, we may have to look at Janet Bostwick's side of the family, because Janet is a Musgrove. All right? So John is John Musgrove Bostwick, and Barrett is Edward Musgrove Barrett. So they're family on the Musgrove side. That is why the Bishop of the Southern District, Bishop Simeon Hall, Janet called him to go to court to testify for John, because Bishop Simeon Hall mother, the crab woman. Nobody could make crab cake and bake the crab like Simeon Hall mother. And she was a Musgrove. All right? Y'all stop setting Mr. Bostwick up on me. I's a poor man. And I can't afford for a big lawsuit. Because everything I try to do it in accordance with the law. Edward Barrett's conviction is a matter of public record. And as long as we properly and correctly quote the findings of the court, there's nothing unlawful about it. And I've always loved Henry Bostwick. I think he's a great man. All right? But he's in public life. Janet Bostwick is in public life. John Bostwick is in public life. I'm in public life. So since I'm in public life, I have a duty to be responsible. Why do you think I had to catch ride from a bunch of people? One man offered me a ride and I said, listen, I can't take ride from you. He want to know why. I say, listen, I hear you's off gun. I hear you is have gun. And when the police stop you and I in the car, you ain't gonna say to the police, listen to him, Mr. Monka gun. You gonna use me and tell the police it's my gun. And then the next thing you know, I don't get no bail. So I ain't take no ride. I keep walking. All right? Because if you have reason to believe that I is have gun, you'll be a fool to ride in my car. Right? You think somebody's going to be honest? Huh? You think somebody's going to be honest and say to the police, police, it isn't Monka gun. Police, it isn't Monka dope. They can say, no, 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 it's Mr. Monka. Don't mind him, rate your plane. Important. That's his gun and that's his dope. And the next thing you know, at 61, I'm charged with gun and dope. And you know what they will do with me, eh? They'll put handcuff on my foot and they'll make it very short. And then put handcuff on my hand. All right? So that's what it is. So, Bostwick, you have to talk to the wife side of the family. Can't blame me. Can't blame me. It's I have children, you know, and I tell them, I say, listen, they don't like me. Listen, they do not like me. You better obey the law. Because if you don't obey the law, they do not like me. Simple as that. And who won't obey the law? Well, the law is there for everybody. So y'all stop telling Bostwick that I'm saying all kind of things. I told Bostwick, I'm prepared to give him a complimentary tape. And I'm also prepared to have him on Freedom March, if he wishes. All right? It's simple as that. The Bostwicks are good people. All right? It's the Musgroves. I hate to say those things, but I'm prepared to defend myself. Because I am tired of being victimized in this country. They victimize me. Victimize me. They lock me up. They don't give me no bail. They send me to jail. They burn down my house. They burn down my car. And so forth. The only thing they ain't do yet is to take the woman from me. All right? But every kind of things. So my spiritual advisor, open the phone, read text.
But Mr. Monkey,
for some reason I'm hungry.
You can understand why, for this argument, the Bostwicks should be upset, right? Number one, I don't think Bahama Press is an official newspaper or official whatever it is, right? If you look at the Nassau Guardian, right, and if you look at their story, there's no Bostwick name mentioned.
Did you read this entire story?
I read it.
And there is no Bostwick.
You see? So
do you know why?
Well,
do you know why?
I don't know why.
Let me tell you why.
Well, let me just finish.
Let me tell you why first.
Let me make my point.
Let me tell you why first.
Let me make my point.
Let me tell you why first. I'll tell you why. Do you know that a Bostwick is the editor of the Nassau Guardian? I asked you a question.
A Bostwick is the editor of the Nassau Guardian?
Yes.
What's his name?
Brent Dean Bostwick.
Man, come on, Mr. Monka, don't do that.
Well, don't do what?
Let's be honest.
My spiritual advisor.
Let's be honest here.
Brent
Dean is married to Henry Bostwick's daughter.
He's a Bostwick.
Lord, what is this?
Yeah.
But the point I want to make is that the Guardian makes no connection between the one who is convicted and John Bostwick Jr. And rightfully so.
No!
Rightfully so.
No!
Right? Because he's still on trial on his own.
And he's been convicted on his own.
Right.
And John has been convicted on...
So why are you dragging the Bostwick's name into this, which is unfair?
My spiritual advisor, you are covering up.
No, I am not covering up.
Is that John Bostwick for his cousin?
Well,
answer the question.
It is supposed that he is.
Not it is supposed.
Okay, so he is.
Hold on.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I can't verify that.
But I
don't even know this man.
I'm going to verify it for you. Let me tell you something.
Mm-hmm.
John Bostwick is sure of this man.
Don't do that. No, see, don't do that. Don't go there.
My spiritual advisor, I want you to listen to me.
But don't go there, man.
My spiritual advisor, I want you to listen to me.
Okay, go ahead.
My family accept me. Right? But my family show me. Let me say it again. My daddy family accept me.
What is this?
But my family show me. This John.
Why are you muddying the water?
Hold on.
Why are you doing
Hold
that?
on. This John, my sister child. You hear what I tell you? I am sure of my sister child than my child. Because I never was pregnant in my life.
But the reality...
I saw my sister with a big fat belly when she had the child there.
But the reality is this man has been arrested.
That is his first
convicted,
cousin.
Tried
John went to Freeport.
on his own.
My spiritual advisor, you're not fair enough.
See, so
John went to Freeport.
I can understand.
My spiritual advisor, John, went to Freeport. And they accused F&Ms of setting John up. You heard me? Henry Bostwick believes that John was set up. You heard me? He's still convinced of that.
Can you prove that he wasn't?
The court made a determination. And if you don't accept the court, right, you appeal.
Okay. Did he?
Of course he appealed.
Okay.
But when faced of what could happen, the appeal was dropped.
He withdrew it. He withdrew the appeal.
Only him could have done that.
Okay.
All right?
But I just want you to just be fair. You know, just
But I'm
be fair.
my spiritual advisor.
This man
the
is a Barrett.
Bostwicks, listen to me.
Yeah, but he's a Barrett.
He's not only a Bostwick. He's not only a Barrett. He's the first cousin. He was charged in the city
It's
that
amazing,
John went to a wedding. And when John was returning from the wedding, the authorities said he had bullets in his possession. Months later,
So
his first cousin.
You see what you're trying to do, right?
I'm not doing anything. Is this the fact? Did John go to a wedding? Yes or no?
Yes, he did.
Then he returned from the wedding, and when he was coming through security...
Yes, we know the story.
Answer my question.
Yes, yes.
Is that true?
Yes.
Edward Barrett is his cousin. Was he not charged in Freeport?
Mm-hmm.
Was he not accused and convicted of bringing bullets into Freeport and guns? Yes or no?
Yes, he was.
So what is
So
your
what
point?
does that mean? Tell
Right?
me. You're trying to make some connection.
The connection is made. John was charged with
know
bringing
what?
bullets,
You can get sued on your own.
and he was convicted. I can't get sued for this.
You get sued on your own.
I can't get sued for this. How can I get sued for this?
I've already made my disclaimer. Henry Bostwick Sr. is a good man.
We're not
And I admire him and the way he's brought up his children.
Listen, I know one woman. She is the greatest woman in the world, but she got a bunch of white
Janet
children.
Bostwick is highly decorated in this country, Mr. Monica.
Janet
She's a highly
Janet
decorated...
ain't commit no sin.
She was also acting Governor General.
But she's committed no sin.
Right. But you're trying to drag her son through
I'm
the mud.
not dragging her son through nothing. This is a public issue.
You got to be careful, Mr. Monica. I'm trying to pull you from the fire, but you're not taking
Fire, my spiritual advisor.
trying
You're
to snatch
covering
it.
up.
I'm not covering up,
Yes,
man.
you're covering up.
I'm not. I'm
You're
just telling
covering
you
up.
that the Guardian story doesn't mention any boss
And I just told you why.
It's an assumption.
My spiritual advisor,
It's an assumption.
Brent Dean, is a boss man.
Anyhow, if you want to speak with Mr. Monica, the number to call you is
Cut yourself, my
323-7775. 323-7775.
When man,
The toll-free number is 300-0045. The
if
toll-free
you are
number.
a man, when you married into the Bostwick family, you take on the woman name.
Yeah.
Brendan is a Bostwick. And if I had the opportunity...
Call Mr. Monica if you want to speak
Hello,
with
welcome to Freedom Match. Hello.
Oh, boy, I tell you.
Hello once. Get the text, my spiritual advisor. I don't know why I'm hungry. Listen, to one other woman them, I'm hungry. Hello, welcome to Freedom Match.
Hello, Mr. Moncur.
Yes?
How are you?
Listen, I'm hungry.
Yeah, I hear you're hungry, but you can't eat nothing right now while you're there.
That is true.
Yeah, spiritual advisor.
Hi, how you doing?
Okay, listen.
Good.
Mr. Moncur is right in what he's saying. You, I love you. I listen to you. Sometimes I call Mr. Moncur to be fair with you. But the message you're sending right now, he says Janet Bostwick is a good woman. Yes. He's not dragging her down, but you have to give wrong where wrong is.
What's the wrong?
Because the person, he's talking about the cousin and the two cousins, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if they're charged, right, they're both charged.
Mm-hmm.
But don't say, let him try to stop him from saying because Bostic is the son of Janet, that he should not say what he has to say. He calls a spade, and that's why we like him. You see, we like Mr. Monica and for being the leader, the woman, them, because the man calls a spade. You don't hide it. Sometimes you do it. You call the spade when it comes to biblical. But Mr. Monica, overall, he don't care who it is. That man went through something. Look what they did to that man. House, car, everything. He's still there, sitting strong, because he's not standing. He's sitting strong. You understand? And let him talk, because they're not to say things. And don't talk but soon, because it makes people like us, what weak on the outside here, what don't know nobody. In this country, you get away with things because of who you know. That's how you make it in this little country. You have to know somebody.
Could you understand my argument, right? The court has not made a connection between the Boston case and the Barrett case. The court has not made a connection between those two cases.
My dear, you put
you understand that, right?
a wonderful case. I thank you very much, eh?
Okay, Mr. Man.
All right, take care.
All right, spiritual advice.
Yes, man. Have a good evening.
Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Sir?
Yeah, Mr. Monica.
Sir?
How you do?
Listen, I'm fine.
Good. Look here. You know, if you don't be careful, you know, you go wind up in jail.
What for?
For what did you talks about people on the air? You can't do them kind of things with people's reputation.
Whose reputation am I
You talking
impugning?
about people, that's none of your business.
Listen, you can't be a real Conky Joe. Go on. You ain't no real Conky Joe. You have a good day before I curse you out. Hello, welcome to Freedom March.
Good afternoon, Mr. Miller, the spiritual advisor.
Yes,
Good afternoon.
That's Mr. Monica, sorry.
Mr. Monica, yeah.
Right, good afternoon.
Down there by that fishing and pond,
Yes.
I believe that this area is 1 Miller.
1 Miller is the MP?
Yeah.
Well, I gonna have to fax him.
Miller.
Well, I thank you for letting me know, because they got 2 burnout cars on that newly paved government road leading to Bonefish Pond Park. It's a national disgrace.
That is not too far down from me, because I live coming up east by Sunset Meadows.
Okay.
And all that is off Cowpen Road.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Well, I thank you for letting me know.
Okay.
I'm going to have to fax this MP. Okay?
You have a good evening.
I thank you,
You do the same, ma'am.
Hello, welcome to Freedom March. Hello.
Good afternoon, Mr. Monica.
Good afternoon, my dear.
And good afternoon, spiritual advisor.
Good afternoon, how are you?
Fine.
Good.
Mr. Monica,
Yes, ma'am.
you sounded like me, you know. I don't catch ride with especially young people. I don't really bother to catch ride with nobody, because like you say, they might have the gun in the car
Yeah.
and the drugs, and they can say it's your own.
You
So
think-
therefore, I rather walk or taxi 11.
Yes.
And Mr. Monica, those burn on Cowpen Road, I caught up with 4 burned cars on that road.
Really?
And that one through Bonefish Pond, that was there for a little while.
It's a disgrace.
So Mr. Miller need to do something, because I'm quite sure he rides that road too.
I had to go there today to take picture and examine it. When the people them called me, I wondered if they thought I was the police. But I did go, and I thank you for your concern, okay?
Y'all have a nice weekend and be safe.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Same
do
to you.
well, my love.
Same to you.
My spiritual advisor, you've not read any texts. Any more
Yeah.
phone calls?
That's it? All right, let's go.
What about text?
Yeah, we got quite a bit of text here, Mr. Monica. Here we go. I don't have my glasses today. Senator.
Here's one. Go ahead, my spiritual advisor, read text.
Hold on, let me put my glasses on first.
Okay.
It says, Senator, if God could use a donkey in Numbers 22 and 28, it might be a step down, but he sure can use menace.
Mr. Bodie didn't say anything about the blind man today. He was going to make him see today by grab. Monica, Dr. Sands, and Mr. Bodie's Lord Jesus by grab.
Blessings, gentlemen. Spiritual advisor, man, you having some great laughs today with Monica. Mr. Monica, question, where are the new jobs coming from in this Bahamas? Because the FNM is not thinking about the natural resources. Why are they not thinking about natural resources? The special interest group, can you investigate?
Well, when we come back, the spiritual advisor will read more texts, and then I have a text from Green Title Key. Everybody on Green Title Key should listen to the text. We'll be right back after the break.
Do you have something to say to the senator? Call Freedom March at 323-7775. Toll free from anywhere in the Bahamas at 242-300-0045. Freedom March with Rodney Monker, only on ILTV. Freedom March with Rodney Monker.
Welcome back to Freedom March, broadcasting live on ILTV studios here in Nassau, Bahamas. My name is Rodney Monker. Bradley Roll is my spiritual advisor. In the business section of today's Tribune, there are comments attributed to Mrs. Christine Wallace Whitfield. She is the president of the Bahamas Real Estate Association. She is complaining over the fact that foreign investors who are making applications to the Bahamas government for approval to purchase property. She thinks that there is too much red tapes. Unfortunately, she does not go into more specific detail and to just point out to us what are some of the concerns of the Bahamas Real Estate Association. Because I have a problem with them. I got a good friend. His name is Nicola Jacks. I got one lot in Bain Town, and I want Jacks to sell it. And those Negroes who run in that real estate association told me, Jacks can't sell my lot because he is not entitled to gain any, what is the word, commission. And I said, do you know Brother Jacks? Do you know he's my good friend? What you mean? And they gave me a talk. I said, well, let me tell you, and I want to see you all stop it. I'm going to give him 50%. And what y'all going to do? Y'all going to take me to court? Because I choose to tell him, find somebody to buy that lot, and I can give you a commission. And they tell me I can't do that. Well, we're going to see. The day Jacks shows up, and he tells me that he finds somebody to buy that lot, I'm going to give him 50% and see whether or not you're going to call the police for me. So I could curse the police and tell the police, that's my money. That's my money. But I say that to say this. I'm concerned that the minister responsible for financial services, he, to the best of my knowledge, is a member of the Bahamas Real Estate Association. But Christine Wallace Whitfield tells me that he is promising to assist them. Brent Simonet, let me warn you, avoid the very appearance of evil. You already been in a government where you found yourself in a conflict of interest. And if Minnis was an English politician, he would not have renominated you. But because Minnis is a Negro politician who's not trained in the convention of the Westminster system of government, doesn't understand it, doesn't have an appreciation for it, you are back. Be careful, and you should stay far and declare your interests and allow some other minister to deal with this. A word to the wise is sufficient. We have more text, my spiritual advisor?
Yes, we do.
Because it's a Friday night.
It's a Friday evening. It's a weekend, Mr. Monker.
I think we should party.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Mr. Monker, I understand what you're saying, and I think I do agree with you. Have a wonderful weekend.
The text from...
Here we go.
Where's the phone? The text from Grand Title Key.
Good evening, Mr. Monker. I'm highly upset with the MP for Central and South Lutra, Hank Johnson.
What is Hank doing
He fired those two young ladies from the airport simply because they voted PLP.
Hank, you mustn't victimize the PLP, for you was once a PLP. Come, Hank, stop it, man. I saw Ricky Mackey today, and I put a little political question to me, and he assured me that he loved all the people. And he say he ain't victimizing nobody. And he's going to find jobs for PLP and FNM. I was so happy. Hank, what's your problem, man? With your big fat self?
Oh, Lord.
Go ahead.
That's not nice, Mr. Monker. Take the... I think your phone call.
Hello? Welcome to Freedom March. Hello?
Hello?
Yes?
Yes. How you doing, Sandra?
I am fine. How are you?
I good.
What's on your mind?
I would just like to send Sheila Mitchell. Her birthday is today.
Sheila Mitchell, birthday is today?
Yeah, she's celebrating her birthday, and you need to come down to the big party because we having a ball. You need to come.
Where's this?
Yeah, she's one of the women then.
Where is this party being
in
held?
Freeport.
Listen.
In Freeport on Nansen Avenue.
Wow. I'm not going to be able to make it tonight.
Nansen.
But
well,
let me tell...
I'll save your cake and everything else. I'll save it for you.
Save it for me. Sheila Mitchell, I'm so happy that today is your birthday, and we wish you a happy birthday. And Sheila, I have a first cousin down there. Her name is Stacy Cox Knowles. Her birthday was yesterday, and I thought it was today. So if you're running to my uncle's daughter, I want you to hug her and wish her a happy birthday as well.
Okay, Mr. Mark, have a good one.
Now, before you go, I must ask you a question. Are you one of the women them?
Yes, man. I just saw you last week, man. I was one of the women them.
And do you accept my leadership?
You got that right.
This is powerful. I thank you.
You also nothing.
Say it again.
You also nothing.
Lord, I thank you that throughout the Bahamas, the woman them are supporting me. Do well, my love.
You're the woman sugar.
Who am I?
You are the woman sugar.
Don't you ever forget it, my sister.
Lord.
All right, sir. Take care.
God bless you.
Right.
Hello. Welcome to Freedom March. Hello. Hello.
They hung up.
Well, let me read this text quickly from Grand Title Key, because Darren is a minister. Let's see what they say. Mr. Monker, those bathrooms on Grand Title Key, are they under central government or local government? I know that person, he's a very disgruntled man. Those bathrooms didn't just fall apart. They were like that under the past administration. So tell him to be truthful. Well, let's assume that you are correct, that the bathrooms were like that under the PLP. But now you have a minister, Darren Henfield, right? So tell Mr. Hanfield to fix the bathroom, or I can send a telegram to the governor of Texas, because Texas does not mess around. And I'm going to let the governor know, don't mind Darren Hanfield, because he can't even keep the bathroom on Grand Title Key, where all them decent people live, fixed. Read text, my spiritual advisor.
Mr. Advisor, I agree with the woman caller. John Boswick was convicted and found guilty and paid a fine of $15,000. It is known that the barred fellow who was found guilty is Janet Boswick's sister child. What is the big deal or secret?
Mr. Monker, Janet Boswick's cousin got away. He only got 4 years with all those guns and bullets. It's not Janet's cousin. That's Janet's sister child. Okay?
Okay, Mr. Monker, you're going to get sued if you don't listen to your spiritual advisor.
I'm listening to him. Good day, please. How can you give citizenship and you cannot let the government know who bring them on the boat from Haiti? Listen, we're giving citizenship to those who came on the boat and had children. Their children is entitled to it. Don't get upset about it. All right? there are people. And let me tell you something. God has blessed the Bahamas because we have been loving and kind to the strangers in our gates, and particularly the Haitian people. Every Haitian, when you see him, you must see him as an angel and take good care of him. Okay? Go ahead, my spiritual advisor.
Good afternoon, spiritual advisor. Can you find out why, from Mr. Monica, and he is supposed to be a Catholic, why he doesn't listen to the views of Archbishop Patrick Pender on the marital rape issue?
Former F&M Senator John Boswick's cousin Edward Barrett, convicted for gun possession and sentenced to 4 years in prison with a $15,000 fine, or face an additional 1 year in prison. Okay?
Finally, the Boswick family is coming after you, Mr. Monica. Dame Joan Sawyer can't help you, and Candia Dames is waiting to write on you. Sandra Dane Patterson is hot for you.
Listen, Sandra ain't safe. Candia ain't safe. And Dame Joan Sawyer is related to my family. So I'm not saying anything unkind about her. Okay? Hello, caller. Hello.
Hello.
Sir.
Oh, a pleasant good afternoon, Mr. Monica.
Thank you. What's on your mind?
Good day to you, spiritual advisor.
Yes, how you doing?
Pretty good, sir. Tell me something, gentlemen. What is the minimum wages in the Bahamas?
The minimum wages, my spiritual advisor, is $210
a week. Yeah.
Say it again?
$210 a week.
Wow, so that's like equivalent to about less than $5 an hour.
Okay.
That's for government workers also?
Yes.
Wow, that's pretty low. I mean, they ever consider about raising the minimum wages?
That's interesting.
Listen,
you just said that.
It's the people's time.
Because I always thought about it. I mean, we always make a noise about everything else in this country, right?
How much you think it ought to be?
The Bahamians work for government, but yet none of them would stand up and say, "Okay, this $5 an hour is chicken change." You have people and right in America. Since we like to follow America, we have people in America flipping burgers and fries for $10 an hour. And you tell me you're a security officer or custodian or whatever you are in the school, and teachers say you're making $5
Listen,
an hour.
who is your MP?
You can't buy bread for that.
Who's your MP?
Pardon me?
Who is your member of parliament?
My member of parliament is the great Glennis Anna Martin.
Well, I say fax her and tell her, agitate on the floor for it. How does that sound?
Yeah, that sounds good. Thank you, gentlemen.
You're welcome. Have a good weekend, man.
I have another text. It's from Freeport. Freeport Hospital needs security. They're stealing car tire and rims of employees' car. Well, Dr. Dwayne Sands, what you can do about that? Get some security there so that they can stop stealing the tires of the employees' vehicle. Go ahead, my spiritual.
Good day, Mr. Monica. I want you to send a shout out to Jennifer Lightburn Roll.
Jennifer
Lightburn Roll. She is celebrating her birthday today, and it's coming from her friends and family with lots of love. We're in Freeport, Mr. Monica.
Jennifer Lightburn Roll, listen, happy birthday. It's from your friends and family in Freeport. Go ahead.
Mr. Monica, is there any possibility that you would invite Dr. Sands on your show to discuss the bed issue?
Listen, the bed issue is an easy one to solve. All Dr. Minnis got to do is to buy bed. Huh? And if they don't have enough space, well, I'm certain that Dr. Minnis can find space. He found space for over 10 years when he wanted to collect the money. You remember that? To start care? Huh? I'm certain he can find space, and I call on the F&M to find bed. All right? And I can tell the F&M where they can find bed, because that Conky Joe man who supports the F&M, he has a big furniture store. Go ahead.
Mr. Monica.
Yes.
Edward Barrett Jr. is the son of Edward Barrett Sr. His wife, Edward Barrett Sr. wife's name is Jacqueline Musgrove, who is the sister of former Foreign Affairs Minister John Boswick. Why is this so important, everybody?
It is important because don't understand what is taking place. Here we have two sister children accused of being in possession of bullets. Almost sound like a family enterprise. That's hard, right? But that's the fact. Do you know what it would mean? I have an uncle who lives in Freeport, Sidney Cox. Can you imagine that he discovered that his two sisters got sons bringing in guns in the country? He would have to say, goodness, look like my sister's sons are running a business. Hello, welcome to Freedom March. But my uncle, you don't have to worry about it.
You're in trouble.
Your sister children are acting lawfully.
You're going to be in trouble, Mr. Monkey.
Go ahead. Hello, welcome to Freedom March. Hello? Well, next. Read text.
Mrs. Monica, it would appear that Mr. Mackey is no better than Hank. They're on the same page. Someone just let me know that someone from the North Lutry Airport.
What has happened there? Good afternoon, Mr. Monica. This is Millie. This is me.
Okay.
Aubrey from BTC, confirming that your service was restored as promised and working. Have a great day. Thank you, Aubrey. They did fix the telephone, okay? Thanks a lot. Go ahead.
Here's this text. It's not a nice text. It says, Senator.
Mr. Monka, are you talking about having Vincent Pete marry Candia Dames?
Oh, Lord.
Wow, I never thought about that. You really think I should put them together?
Mr. Monica, you're suffering from the black crab syndrome. You're not successful, so you're jealous of all those successful people. You can't make it in politics, so you're jealous of those who have. Mr. Monica, I will be celebrating my birthday on Sunday. I'm one of the women them in Megwana. My name is Zell Pinder. Zell Pinder.
Pinder.
And I will be celebrating my birthday on Sunday.
Are you watching me from
Megwana?
From Island Luck, what do you call it? Shop? From Island Luck Shop in Megwana? Because I'm told that all the people of Megwana go to the web shop to watch Freedom March. Zell, I want you to know that I wish you a happy, happy birthday. And I yearn to eat a piece of flamingo meat. Thank you. Go ahead.
Mr. Monica, is Fred Williamson Simon on the front porch?
Fred Williams?
Fred Williamson.
Fred Williamson?
Mm-hmm.
Listen, Fred Williamson is not Simon on the front porch. Okay? Fred Williamson is a Negro man, and Simon is a light-skinned Negro man. Go ahead. Next.
Mr. Monica, please ask Naaman and the government when are they going to fix people's roof for Matthew. My house is still leaking.
Really?
When it rains. Yeah,
Come on, Jesus, hurry up, fix the people things, man. Goodness, go ahead.
Mr. Monica, can you send a shout out to Charlotte Cartwright?
Cartwright?
Yeah, she's one of the women named Charlotte Cartwright.
What island is she on?
New Providence.
Charlotte Cartwright, you are one of the woman them, and I salute you. And I thank you for continuously rejecting gender equality. It's the works of the devil. And it's led by a bunch of women who hate their sons. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Mr. Monica. I am now employed with Maximum Security, but I understand that they lost their biggest contract, BPL.
BPL.
Which has over 6 locations where we work, and they say that they'll be letting go 80+ workers,
wow,
male and female.
Wow.
Meaning that all of us, the 80 of us, will be without employment.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Very, very sorry. But do not forget what Senator Fred Mitchell warned you. During the general election, he said, listen, this comes down to economics. This election is about jobs. If you vote for the FNM, you will lose your job. If you vote for the PLP, you will hold on to your job. And thousands of you Negroes, like sheep, you all went behind the FNM. Now you got what you voted for. You ain't got no job. But I want you to know that help and hope is on the way. Okay? So be patient.
Mr. Monica, have you noticed the great job that Shannon Cartwright has been doing in his constituency?
I have to go and examine. Next.
That's it. That's all the text.
There's no more text?
That looks like it, Mr. Monica. Oh, sorry.
You
Mr.
find
Monica,
more?
could you please send a happy B-Day out to Donna Pickstock? She watches you on Facebook Live.
Donna
Pickstock.
Donna Pickstock. Listen, it's a birthday?
I think.
If it is
yes.
your birthday, happy birthday, Donna.
Yes.
And of course,
happy B-Day, yes.
I am so excited to know that you, as one of the woman them, you're with me. And let me tell you something, Donna. They're jealous of me. They cannot believe that I'm the first man to lead thousands of women. We have gender equality. I am the leader of the woman them. And I'm going to help the woman them as we fight for the woman them rights. And I call on Bahamian men to be faithful. You hear me? The first thing is I want all the married men to be faithful. Because unfaithfulness in your marriage can lead to prostate problem. Don't mind them. You listen to me. Sweethearting is one of the major problems with your prostate. Now, there's always exception to the rule. You hear me? And they're mad. Because I'm going to tell the people them. All right? So let's be faithful to our wives. Let's be faithful to our girlfriends. Let's take care of our family. Let's listen to the police this weekend. What'd you say, my spiritual advisor?
Let me make one correction here. Somebody sent me something here, and it says the public service. Thanks, Anya. The public service minimum wage, $12,700 annually, and you divide that by 52 weeks, you get $244.23 a week.
Okay.
So the minimum wage.
Well, don't say the minimum wage. Is the public service salary the minimum wage?
I don't know.
So you better hold on until Monday.
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, but this is
I want you to tell the people.
$244 and about 23 cents.
Tell the people them to behave. Listen, you Negro people, you all better be careful that in the resurrection only the Conky Joe people go to heaven. You're doing too much killing. Okay? I want y'all to be like the Conky Joes and don't kill nobody. All right?
Yes.
You hear what I tell y'all? It's too much killing. And I want y'all to listen to the police. If the police say go home, just quietly go home. You young people, listen. And for those of you who know you're into skullduggery, stop sitting on the porch. You may not be involved in anything, but stray bullets. So go in the house, lock up the house. You got a yard? You got a nice fence? Stay to the back. All right? And be careful, man. Be careful. Let's obey the laws. All right? That's what you say, my spiritual advisor.
Yeah, let me just give a quick Christian reminder here. And this is the marks of a true Christian. It says, taken from Romans chapter 12. Reading from verse number 9 and following. I'm reading from the English Standard Version. Here's what it says. Let love be genuine. Abhor what is evil. Hold fast to what is good. Love one another with brotherly affection. Try to outdo one another in showing honor. Do not be slothful in zeal. Be fervent in spirit. Serve the Lord. Rejoice in hope. Be patient in tribulation. Be constant in prayer. Contribute to the needs of the saints and seek to show hospitality. Bless those who persecute you. Bless and do not curse them. Bless those who persecute you. Bless and do not curse them. Rejoice with those who rejoice. Weep with those who weep. Live in harmony with one another. Do not be haughty, but associate with people of low esteem. Never be wise in your own sight. Repay no one evil for evil, but give thought to do what is honorable in the sight of all. If it is possible, so far as it depends on you, live at peace, Mr. Monica. Live at peace with all men.
Wow.
Beloved, never avenge yourselves, but leave room for God's wrath. For it is written, vengeance is mine, says the Lord, I will repay. On the contrary, if your enemy is hungry,
oh, hallelujah,
you feed him. If he is thirsty, you give him something to drink.
Oh, hallelujah.
For in doing so, you will heap burning coals on his head. And the final verse says, do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good.
My
a very powerful Christian reminder.
Advisor.
The weekend is here, Mr. Monken. We're hoping that everyone has a safe weekend, including you and I, as we go about doing our fact-finding missions, that God would watch over us, send his angel to guide and protect us.
This is powerful.
Because we do have a society that sometimes turn to the crime element. So we're hoping that everybody have a safe weekend. And of course, as the first day of the week approaches,
oh, hallelujah,
the Churches of Christ here in the Bahamas
and the Roman Catholic Church
invite you, according to Acts 20 and 7, to its first day of the week service, where we'll come together and break bread. And remember what our great God and Savior Jesus Christ did on the cross more than 2,000 years ago when he suffered an ignominious death, dying for the entire human race, Mr. Monka. And hopefully, Lord's willing, we'll return, if it's the Lord's will, on Monday, for another Freedom March episode.
This is powerful.
Where you would use wisdom and allow your speech to be seasoned with salt so that you may know how you ought to answer everyone. We hope everyone have a safe weekend, Mr. Monka. Godspeed, and God bless the entire Bahamas.
Well, you have heard from my spiritual advisor, and we extend peace to each and every one of you.
Absolutely, to all men.
Go,
absolutely,
my people, in peace, and serve the Lord. Take good care, be safe. Spiritual advisor.
Have a great weekend, everybody.
Everybody, take good care. Take good care. We'll see you on Monday.
If it's the Lord's will.
If it is God's will.
Absolutely.
Do well, my people. Do
Good night,
well.
everybody.
The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by Rodney Monker, his guests, callers, and advisors on Freedom March are not necessarily those of the management, ownership, or production unit of ILS, the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without the express written consent of the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2017. All rights are reserved.